Righty, here we go. Welcome to another training. This training is titled How Mastering These Three Systems Will Eliminate Stress in Your Wedding Business and Help You Book More Weddings Than You Ever Thought Possible. I'm really excited to dive into this training. My name is Dallas, and I am the Managing Director with Inspire Media and Advanced Wedding Systems. We are really excited to be bringing a lot of awesome resources to the wedding industry. As we have done our research, there is not a lot of good sound information out there. And so we're aiming to bring the best, most actionable, high quality resources to you to help you grow your business. And so this is one of the number one things that we see in the market today is the lack of systems in place. This is a huge thing that is going to make a massive, massive difference. So here's what we are going to go ahead and cover in this training. Number one, the three systems that when you master these, they will eliminate stress in your business. The metrics that you need to be measuring. We'll talk about it, but what gets measured gets managed. And it is very surprising to me. Some people are not measuring things that are so important. If you're not measuring things, don't worry. We're going to go through exactly what you need to be measuring to help you really eliminate stress and grow faster, stronger, and create a more healthy business overall. And lastly, not only we're going to talk about those things, we're going to give you actions what you need to do to get started. So if you stay with us throughout this training, we're going to cover all of these things in depth, and I think you will really get something out of it. So this training, it doesn't matter if you are a small business, it's just you're a solopreneur. It doesn't matter if it's you plus some contractors or partners or you have employees. You need these systems in your business unless you want to lose your mind. I think we know all too well that stress, that feeling of, is someone going to fill out that contact form on our website? Are they going to become, are they going to become our next booking? Like hoping and praying that this happens. And that's no way to run a business. That's no way to live. We want to create predictable systems that will give us the outcomes that we want. And so that's what we'll cover. We're going to start with the first system here, being traffic. Traffic is huge. This is basically people coming to your website. Now we live in a digital age, and in the past, this is people coming to your door, right? And if you had a storefront, they're coming there. But now it's website traffic. It's traffic or people coming to your Instagram profile, your Facebook profile. Maybe it's even your page on the Knot or the Wedding Wire. But beyond traffic, we want engagement. We want people to take that next step, not just click, but we want them to engage with us and kind of take another level of action. So obscurity is the number one problem facing small businesses. And basically, people don't know you exist. Otherwise, you would have much more business if more people knew you exist. And so getting traffic and engagement is making sure people know you exist. And so this is a huge problem, but it is solvable. There's a lot of ways to fix this obscurity problem. A few questions we're going to ask, throughout this to kind of identify where you're at and help you start thinking about these things and thinking about how you can take these next steps. Is, do you know how much traffic you're getting to your website? Simply, could you tell how much traffic you're getting every month to your website on average? Especially where's that traffic coming from? Is it coming from Facebook? Is it coming from Google searches? Is it coming from, other referral places? Do you know these things? Because they're extremely important to understand your customers. How many people are engaging on all of your platforms? So like we mentioned, how many people are engaging with you on Instagram, Facebook, the Knot, the Wire? Like, what are your numbers and do you know them? Now, when people do engage with you, now they're taking this traffic, are you directing them towards a specific action? And we'll talk about this a little bit more in the next system, but what are people doing? Is there a plan with the traffic? essentially? Do you have a plan of when they get there, what are they going to do? Are you going to lead them in that direction? What's your conversion rate? We can talk about this a little bit more too. Now you have that traffic. People know about you. They're coming to your website. What rate at which are people, coming to your website, and how many of those people are now inquiring with you or becoming a lead, right? Do you have KPIs, so key performance indicators? Do you have special indicators in place to let you measure success, essentially? So key performance indicators are massively crucial. Next, do you know the relationship between inputs and outputs in your business? Basically, what you're putting in, dollars, hours, resources. Do you know what that's getting out? So do you know what a return basically on your investments are? So if you're putting in, so many hours with, marketing actions, do you know what you're getting out? If you're putting dollars into something, into advertising, into marketing, do you know what you're getting out? So do you know that relationship between your inputs or outputs? Or are you trying to measure it to the best of your abilities? I just want to give a little example here of a campaign that we've run for one of our partners. This is the inside of Facebook advertising, Facebook and Instagram ads. This is a screenshot directly. And so I wanted to use this to show you some of the metrics that maybe you should be tracking when it comes to traffic. We get jumped one ahead. So amount spent, you'll see that right here. Do you know how much money you're spending? Do you know what that's generating you? Right? So for this ad, the single amount spent on this ad, each line here is a different ad that we have ran over a short period of time. You can see here just $190 generated 179 link clicks. So we know what our input was. We know one of our KPIs is link clicks, our cost per link click. So that means it costs us $1.06 per link click. If we spend $190 and we got 179 link clicks, that means $1.06 per link click. Now, another thing, and maybe you didn't realize you could measure this, but you really can now with technology today, and you should be measuring what your results are. So right here, this website purchase ROAS. ROAS is a term that means return on ad spend. That means that's our return from our $190. We spent $190, and you can see at the other end here, the amount of revenue this ad resulted in. So this specific ad resulted in $3,917, and it got 179 link clicks, and 179 from those 179 link clicks, this is how much money we made. That means we got a 20x return. So this is 20 times our money, basically, is what we got. So we know our input and output. You can see it goes down here. We had another ad that spent about a little over almost $1,200 right here, and it made $23,000. Again, we know our return on ad spend, and we can see how many link clicks we got. We can see our inputs and our outputs. These are things that you can measure now in 2019, going into 2020. You can measure all these things using tools online. Get familiar with the tools that you have available to you so you can start measuring things. I'm going to keep saying this: what gets measured gets managed. So you need to set up your KPIs and what you're going to focus on. So how can you increase traffic now? You see how important it is. Now you say, how do we increase that? Now it's actually pretty simple. You create valuable resources for prospects. When brides or couples are going out looking for information, they're looking for information. They've never planned a wedding for it. They've never done a wedding. They don't know how it works for the most part, right? And they're going to be looking for information. Well, as business owners, it's our job to create that information for them and guide them through that process. Our job is to help them solve their problems. And we can start out by doing that by giving them the resources, posting them on our website, sharing them on social media, creating those valuable resources. The more valuable the resource, the more traffic you're going to get. The more people are going to build trust with you, all those sorts of things. So start by what are you putting out to get traffic, to get people to your website, to get people to your page? You should be sharing valuable resources. find a predictable traffic source. Now that you have your valuable resource that you've created, you know these people are searching for it online. You need to find a predictable traffic source. You need to find a way to get that in front of targeted people. Well, the greatest thing is, again, in 2019, we have the internet. The internet is such a valuable resource for us. And we can use things like Facebook and Instagram ads, Pinterest, Google. I think Facebook is the most powerful right now as a traffic source because you can see people who are engaged and send them these valuable resources. And you can pay, just like we saw here, we can predictably pay this much money, get people to click, right? We can pay this much money and then see how much is coming out the other side, right? And so not only this is our traffic source here on Facebook, we're sending valuable information to them and we're measuring all of our things. So you have access to Google Analytics or heat mapping, right? There's technology out there to see how people are engaging with your website. You can literally watch them, the recordings of them and how they're engaging. You should know these things because it's important to see how your prospects are engaging with you. Because if you need to make adjustments or maybe they're not navigating your website like you hope they would, you need to have these things in place so you can make adjustments. That's why we have these measurements, not only to see success, but also to see failures so that we know where to make proper adjustments. So learn how to measure. There's free Google Analytics courses out there. There's all sorts of information on how to measure this. Setting KPIs, your key performance indicators. What numbers are extremely important to you to know whether you're measuring if things are successful or not. So I'm showing you, some awesome ads. We also have ads that didn't return this much. You can see they go down here. Well, we are able to create these ones that return so much more because we have our key performance indicators in place, right? Our cost per link clicks, our number of link clicks, our return, our click-through rates, these sorts of things. Those are our key performance indicators. You want to set those up. And then you're going to repeat this process and continue to create valuable content. You're going to put them out on your predictable traffic source and you're going to be measuring and you're going to rinse and repeat that. And this is going to be how you create traffic and eliminate obscurity, eliminate the idea that people don't know about you. And you're going to provide extreme amounts of value to your prospects and it's going to be extremely, extremely helpful for them. Next system is lead generation. Lead generation is turning those prospects into leads. This is getting them to inquire, getting their information, getting them interested so that they inquire with you to learn more about you, your business, your product, your offerings, those sorts of things. So do you know the percentage of the traffic that you have that's turning into leads? Again, that conversion rate. Do you know that number? On average across the internet, it's anywhere between 1% and 4%. Sometimes it's even lower. And you can imagine if you could change a few things that would increase that conversion rate, that's doubling the amount of leads you get in. And there are things that you can do, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So this is a number that you should really be thinking about because if you could just make a few tweaks and double the amount of people that come to your website, you're already doubling the amount of people that come to your website because you have new content and traffic source. And now you're increasing the amount of people that convert. It's not a hopeful thing. It's a strategic thing. What are the quality of your leads? Some leads, the wire and the knot, they're passing through terrible, terrible leads. So is it worth the money that you're spending? It might be. If you're measuring things, are those leads worth it? You'll have to find out by asking yourself these questions and doing the numbers and finding which traffic source is going to provide you with the highest quality leads. It's extremely, extremely important. Now, are you set up in a way that makes prospects want to take action to become a lead, or are you just information out there that's like everybody else? We're going to talk about this. Are you prompting them to take action? Are you making it easy for them? What's your process now for nurturing your leads? Someone gives you information. Are you nurturing them? Are you providing them more value and trying to take them to the next step in your process, which we'll talk about in just a minute? Example. This is another page. It shows you exactly how many visitors we have, our conversions. We know how many people, in this period of time, I think this is like 1 month, we have, this is a month right here. So we have 139 conversions. That's a 10% conversion rate. So we know that 10% of the people are coming our site, we're measuring this, and this has gradually grown over time to get these kind of numbers. So this is something that we're measuring constantly, and we are trying to increase it because this is a very, very important number to increase. Now let's talk about how we can increase it and turn those traffic into leads. Number one, you need to lead the horse to water, but don't leave them to their own devices because they will wander off. Essentially, so many websites, I guarantee you go to your website. Are you directing them towards an action? Because in reality, your website is not just there to look pretty. Your website is there to give people information so that they take action with you, right? They're taking their next action. So if that's inquiring, whatever that is, you should be leading them to that point. That should be the most clear thing. Everything you do should be leading them, because really they don't care as much about you. They care that if you can help them. That's what matters. Can you help them? It doesn't matter, they don't care about you. So you need to lead the horse to water. You need to lead the prospect to the call to action, to whatever that is. Otherwise, they're going to wander off. So design your site, everything you're doing, towards a call to action. Make it as easy as possible for prospects to get you their information. You'll notice around the internet, people are just asking for a first name and email to get started, or maybe it's first name, email, phone number, like the minimum amount of information. You want to make this process for them so easy. So we're leading them there and we're making it super easy. The less friction you have, the better experience it is for the customers. Now, give them a reason to convert, right? If it's a time where you're not busy, if you're not, people going gangbusters over your business, offer a special offer. Let them know that you're going to fill up. Maybe you only do so many dates per year and you're starting to fill up, or let them know that dates will fill up quickly. Well, we want to give them a reason. Like, don't wait around on this. We see this all across the internet of, the largest companies, Booking.com, Amazon. They're giving you, you'll see timers and things like that. This is all based on psychology because people don't want to miss out, or they want to take advantage of something. We want to give them a reason to take that next action. So the last and final system in this process, we have the traffic. We have a traffic source. We're getting them good content. We've designed our website and our entire online experience so that it will convert that traffic into a lead. And now we have a lead. What do we do? Well, again, we want to talk about, do you have a consistent process for turning leads into customers, right? Is it consistent? Do you know what's going to happen? Or is a lead come in and every client's different, right? We get that all the time. Every customer is different. Well, that's true. Every customer is different, but that doesn't mean the process has to be different for every single customer, right? You should have a customer that you're taking them along an experience. Are you selling? Are you trying to sell yourself and tell them about you and why you're so good? Are you being helpful and prescriptive and understanding their problems? Do you have a follow-up process? We talked about this in one of our other trainings. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, about follow-up. Follow up. It is so important to follow up. If you aren't following up many, many times and doing it in a creative way, in a helpful way, in a non-annoying way, follow up does not have to be annoying. How many times are you doing it? This is extremely important. 80% of sales are made on the follow-up. How are you managing all of your prospect information? Do you have a system or a software that you're managing all their information? You know where they're at. You know the last time you talked to them. You have all the information or notes from your call with them. Do you have all this, or are you just flying by the seat of your pants? Here's an example of our CRM. We know, here's our email. We've sent 163 emails. The open rate is 44%. And you can see reply to rate. That's our goal, is reply is 10% on this email. 11% on this email, 20%. This is our follow-up, right? We follow up 1, 2, 3 times, 20%. Look how many people follow on the follow-ups. So if this is the first email we send, if they don't answer, they get this email. If they don't answer, we send them this email. Look how many follow up. 11 on the follow-ups and only 8 on the first one. This is how important, over twice. We're using a customer relationship management software, CRM software. We'll talk about that in just a second, to manage this. It is so crucial that you're managing these things and you're following up. So how do you turn leads into customers? Get leads on the phone. If you're not using a scheduling software, you should be. So when you want to eliminate that back and forth, when a contact inquires and they're asking a question, you want to get them on the phone as fast as possible. You know that's where the magic happens, because this is where you can actually understand their problems. Again, that's why they're doing business with you. It's not just about, price is not what you're going to be you want to be talking about. Obviously that's a factor, but you should be talking about, what is their wedding going to look like? How do they imagine it? What are they worried about? What are their fears? What's some things that might be holding them back from doing what they want to do, and how you can help them solve those problems. So you want to do that, you need them on the phone, and using a scheduling software is a great thing to save you a lot of time on that back and forth. Hey, are you available this day? Are you available that day? Confirming your calls. There's scheduling software where they can just look at your calendar, choose a date and time. It sends them a calendar invite and it sends them reminders about your call. And then you go ahead and just call them on that time. I promise you it will be one of your favorite investments that you ever make. So get people on the phone. This is where you can to make this happen. CRM. You should be managing this. As soon as you get their information, you should be putting them in there. You should be taking notes on them as you're on their call with them, so you remember all these things. We got a lot of busy things going on in our life, and it creates more stress if we don't get these things out of our head and put them into the software systems. Right? The largest companies in the world all operate on these systems. The companies that are growing the fastest are operating with these systems, and these software is because they work. Now it's your job to lead the conversation with a sequential question process. I won't get too deep into this, but when you're on the phone, you are the leader of this conversation. You want to be asking them certain questions to get an idea so you can understand their problems. And then you want to be able to find their pain points, their worries, their fears, their struggles, because this is why they're paying you. They're not just paying you. People pay people to solve problems. And that's what you need to figure out, because then you can show them how you're going to solve their problems, how you're going to give them the easiest and the best experience, directly proportional to what actually matters to them. Otherwise, you're going to ramble on talking about things that they don't even care about. So you really want to dig into them and see what's going on with them so that you can answer. And you're going to lead this conversation. Then you can give them the clear offer if it's a good fit for you and it's a good fit for them. You make your offer clear. Don't make it confusing. Make it very straightforward so they understand it. And if you don't make the booking on the call, set a next scheduled contact. This gives you a reason to follow up, right? You want to follow up with every single person at least 3 to 5 times. When you say, hey, I'm going to talk to my significant other, I got to talk to my mom, I got to talk to someone. Great. Why don't I get in touch with you next Monday or next Tuesday, or expect a follow-up email from me now, and I will also touch base with you on Wednesday. Does that sound good? Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, now Wednesday comes around, shoot them a message. You're ready to talk with them. So again, get them on the phone, use a customer relationship management software. You lead the conversation with questions. You find their pain points, show them you can solve their problems, make a clear offer, make the booking or schedule the next contact, and make sure you follow up 3 to 5 times. If you follow this, I promise you will massively increase the amount of leads that you turn into customers. If you do this, it will make a massive, massive impact. So a little recap. If you can generate traffic predictably, then predictably turn those traffic into leads and predictably turn those leads into customers, you will eliminate stress. I think we can agree on that. If you can predictably do all these things, and we obviously showed that that's possible. It's possible to do all of that. It's extremely possible. You just have to break it down into those 3 sections. You have to think about traffic, and you have to think about leads, and you have to think about sales, and you have to think about how all 3 of those systems fit together, because systems are built from multiple smaller processes put together. So That's exactly where you start. You start learning how to create those processes and begin with the end in mind. So you know your whole customer journey. You want to think about that journey. And then you want to start building those small processes that will all come together into larger processes. And always remember, if you take anything from this and you get started somewhere, what gets measured gets managed. Figure out your most important numbers. Figure out how they work in your business, which ones are the most important, all of those things. Again, if you're not part of the group already, make sure you join our group. This is where you can ask questions. If you have questions about CRMs, if you have questions about booking, make sure you ask. We're going to be releasing new free trainings all the time to help you grow. If you have any feedback, questions, make sure you leave a comment and let us know.